Okay, we are live now with the First Voices virtual pop-up. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Voices of Monterey Bay's fourth annual pop-up party. Bienvenidos al cuarto festival pop-up de Voces de la Bahía de Monterrey. I'm Julie Reynolds Martinez, and I'm going to be your host this evening. This year, we picked a theme for our first online pop-up called Connecting in Isolation. Conectándose desde el aislamiento. We'll be sharing stories, drinks, and more in English and Spanish. Vamos a compartir unas bebidas, cuentos y más en inglés y español. And right here, I want to thank our colleague, Claudia Melendez Salinas, for translating all the subtitles for all of tonight's performances. And I want to also ask you to please feel free to leave comments and questions for us in the comments section wherever you're watching this, on Facebook or on YouTube. And we're going to try to read some of your messages later on. So please stick around for a half an hour to 45 minutes of inspiration, art, and storytelling. Oh, and by the way, happy Hanukkah, everyone. So I want to introduce now our fellow member of the Vaughn Squad, Kathy McKenzie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to our online pop-up event. I'm Kathy. I'm one of the team members at Voices of Monterey Bay. As you might know, we've been hosting community pop-ups for the past few years, and they're always a blast. Part of the mission at Voices is to embrace and support the arts and culture of this region in all its beautiful and diverse forms. And pop-ups have turned out to be a great way to do that. At past pop-ups, we've heard from spoken word artists from Salinas, young journalists from South Monterey County, and musicians from Santa Cruz and beyond. It's always an entertaining and unpredictable evening that usually turns out even better than what we had planned. This year, of course, we're having to do things a little bit differently. It's not possible for us to gather physically, so we're doing it virtually, which is a great adventure for us. We're hoping for the same sense of fun, excitement, and discovery as we bring you a look at some of the unique talents and storytellers from our Monterey Bay area. And as you're watching at home, we hope that you'll consider giving to Voices of Monterey Bay during our News Match program, which runs through the end of the year and doubles every donation made to Voices during this time. It's an easy way to make sure your gift has twice the impact that it would normally have. And now, to get the party started, take it away, Julie.
So let's start with the cycle. Once an extremely popular drink, it is thought to have originated in Paris during World War I. The sidecar makes an interesting after-dinner drink, as well as a before-dinner cocktail. Go easy on the Cointreau, or the drink will be sticky sweet. Don't worry, we don't even have any Cointreau. Like I said, we're doing the pandemic, whatever's in your pantry version today. So you take your cocktail shaker. If you don't have a cocktail shaker, don't worry. You can use a mason jar. You can use a mayonnaise jar. I don't care. Just get the mayo out of it first. And our main ingredient, the star of the show, is brandy. We're going to take brandy, 55 milliliters, or about 2 ounces, into the shaker. And now for our little shutdown secret, because we're using what's in the pantry, and I don't have any Cointreau, which is the second ingredient. That's your orange liqueur. It could be called Cointreau, it could be called Triple Sec, there's Grand Marnier, different brands. We're not using any of those. The secret, the bartender's secret, is orange marmalade. It's bitter, it's got the orange peel in there, it gets you a lot of the same flavors that are in your Grand Marnier. You can also use your plain old orange extract if you're a baker and you have this stuff in the cupboard, and just mix it with simple syrup or sugar water or even honey. In this case, I'm using a sugar-free simple syrup because I don't like to eat sugar, and this one is made with monk fruit. I didn't know fruit grew on monks, but apparently it does, and it has no sugar. So I'm going to make this version with the orange extract, and when we make our mocktail, I'll make it with the marmalade, and you can see how that works. It's pretty simple. So just a little dash of orange extract goes in there, into the shaker. And we're going to put in 1 ounce, or about 1 shot glass, full of the simple syrup. If you just make some sugar water and put that in, it won't be quite as thick and viscous, is the proper word, but it's okay. It's a cocktail. All right, and then finally, the thing that makes a sidecar is the juice of half a lemon. And I don't have half a lemon, so we're using this stuff in the bowl. Because again, it's whatever's in the pantry. So here goes about 1 ounce, more or less, your taste, depending on how sweet or sour you like it. And that is it. If you have an actual lemon, you might want to add a little twist of lemon here. I don't have an actual lemon. You know what? Let's put this in there. Now comes the fun part. And this is where you justify the expense of having a cocktail shaker, because it's just so fun. Make sure the lid's on tight, or you'll get a shower. And now, here's the part where you make yourself look really cool. You take a slice of any citrus fruit, and if you don't have any citrus fruit, a little dab of water on your towel. And what you want to do here is wet the rim of your glass. Just enough. And then I have this little plate of, it's actually not sugar, but you can use sugar. You can use what I'm using here, which is this monk fruity stuff. Little fruits from monks. Isn't that so cool? And hold your lid on tight. We've got our strainer here. If you're using your mason jar, use a strainer. My friends, is your classic sidecar. Salud! I think I'll have another.
Thank you, Julie. Good evening. I'm Joe Livernoise, and I'm an original Bomb Squad editor. We're celebrating our 3rd anniversary as the Central Coast's first, and so far only, nonprofit bilingual news organization. The goal at Voices of Monterey Bay is to supplement the journalism that's already happening on the Central Coast, to fill in the blanks of a media landscape that has suffered recently with the massive reductions and cutbacks. That means opening our pages to as many new voices as possible. We are open to all, but we are especially interested in sharing stories from Central Coast residents who have not otherwise been heard. My approach, our approach, is to encourage people to tell their own stories in their own words. A good example came this week when we asked an emergency room nurse at Salinas Valley Memorial Hospital to share her experiences while working in a heartbreaking COVID environment. In the past, I might have interviewed her and written my own take on what she told me, but Voices allowed her to use her own voice, and I think the result is much more impactful. This is a relatively new approach in journalism, and we love doing it, but we're also very old school journalists, and we still value good, hardcore investigative reporting and explanatory journalism. We do quite a bit of it at Voices too. Examples of game-changing journalism that Voices has done includes the investigative story we produced about how a prison gang from California had infiltrated MILPA, a Salinas nonprofit dedicated to criminal justice reforms. As a result of that story, MILPA made significant leadership changes, and the story won a national award from the Association of Alternative News Media. We are also lucky to have one of the Central Coast's best investigative reporters on our team. Royal Calkins has been doing stellar work for Voices since the beginning, and specifically during this past year, Royal has been probing the inner workings of the Monterey County Sheriff's Office and has found plenty of scandal and skullduggery to write about, and I hope you've been following it. Those are stories that other local media wouldn't or couldn't do for a variety of reasons. Voices would like to continue doing quality investigations, but we need your help. As a nonprofit, we depend on contributions from those of you who value quality, old school reporting, from people who value watchdog journalism that informs with stories that result in positive changes. I hope you will support Voices this month by donating during our Newsmatch program, when every contribution is matched dollar for dollar. And I thank you for joining us this evening. I hope you're having a good time. Oh, and happy holidays.
Thanks, Joe. So friends, maybe you've been trying to figure out what's allowed and what isn't under all the changing COVID shutdown rules. And if you are, you're not alone. Our colleague, Victor Almazan, explains how hard it was to get a silk haircut in Salinas last spring. Victor nació en la Ciudad de México. Ha colaborado en periódicos de México y California, entre ellos The Salinas Californian, El Sol y El Andar Magazine. Vive en Salinas y le gustan las películas de vampiros. Victor Almazan was born in Mexico City, and he's contributed to publications in Mexico and California, including the Salinas Californian, El Sol, and El Andar Magazine. He lives in Salinas, and he likes vampire movies. So now I will present Victor reading his story about Al Capone and whether he might get a haircut in Salinas.
Uno de los males menores que la pandemia trajo fue la imposibilidad de ir a salones de belleza a cortarse el pelo. Pero a males menores, remedios mayores. Fui a cortarme el pelo a un salón de belleza prohibido, un salón speakeasy. En mayo, en plena vigencia del confinamiento y después de 2 meses de no cortarme el pelo, decidí hacerlo. Tenía las dos únicas opciones que todos los demás, o cortarlo yo mismo o permitir que una persona acompañante del confinamiento lo hiciera. Pero después de ver en las redes sociales fotos de los resultados de este tipo de cortes, agrupados bajo el hashtag CoronaCuts, decidí no hacerlo. La opción B era ir a un salón no autorizado. En la era de la prohibición, prácticamente se ilegalizó todo el consumo de bebidas alcohólicas, dando lugar a la apertura de bares y lugares de consumo llamados speakeasy. De igual modo, la orden de confinamiento en el condado de Monterey cerró barberías y salones de belleza, pero no impidió que concretamente en el este de Salinas se abrieran lugares de trabajo bajo estrictas medidas de seguridad y anonimato que siguieron haciendo este trabajo, cortando el pelo. Si en la prohibición no se dejó de consumir alcohol, en la cuarentena no se dejó de cortar el pelo. Obviamente la diferencia es enorme, es muy grande. En la prohibición quienes ganaron fueron peligrosos criminales que vieron la oportunidad de amasar enormes cantidades de dinero traficando con bebidas alcohólicas. Uno de ellos es bastante conocido en el área de la Bahía. Estuvo preso en Alcatraz, Al Capone. Al Capone fue atacado con unas tijeras en la barbería de la prisión mientras le cortaban el pelo. En la pandemia no ha habido grandes ganadores, más bien ha habido grandes perdedores. Uno de ellos han sido los dueños y trabajadores de los salones de belleza, que son obligados a cerrar sus negocios, pero también se las han ingeniado para abrirlos. Recordé que en las clases de tecnología que imparto en varias escuelas de Salinas, varias de mis alumnas trabajan en salones de belleza cortando el pelo. Así que decidí hablar a una de ellas y preguntarle si ella estaba haciendo esta actividad. Hablé a mi alumna y me dijo que ella no estaba cortando el pelo, pero me daría el número telefónico de alguien que sí lo estaba haciendo. No más chitón, me dijo. Hablé al número que me dio y una voz femenina me contestó preguntando mi nombre y cómo había obtenido esa información. Contesté sus preguntas y me dio opciones de horario para atenderme. Elegí al día siguiente, lunes a las 10 de la mañana. Me dijo que hablara 10 minutos antes de mi cita y me daría la dirección de la casa donde acudir y las características de esta. Al día siguiente, hablé a las 9:50 de la mañana y la misma persona me contestó y me dio las características de la casa y la dirección a donde tenía que acudir. No toque el timbre, me dijo. La puerta estará sin seguro. Llegue y entre. Un requisito indispensable era usar cubrebocas. En la prohibición, la ubicación de los bares Speakeasy era secreta y para poder entrar se tenía que murmurar una contraseña en voz baja, que regularmente cambiaba cada día. Llegué a la dirección, identifiqué la casa, vi la puerta, empujé y entré lentamente. Obviamente usando cubrebocas. Una mujer me estaba esperando con una bata y todas las medidas de seguridad. ¿Cómo va a ser su corte?, me preguntó. Le di indicaciones y mientras me cortaba el pelo, le pregunté si no tenía miedo de hacer esta actividad. Sí tengo miedo, me dijo. Tengo miedo a que me multe el condado y también tengo miedo que uno de mis clientes esté enfermo de COVID. Pero bueno, ¿por qué cortarse el pelo? Hay muchas razones. Se corta uno el pelo para cumplir el reglamento de la escuela, cumplir el reglamento del trabajo, o también para verse bien o para sentirse bien. Pero una de las cuestiones importantes de los cortes del pelo es de que el corte debe estar bien hecho. No debe ser un mal corte. Todo el mundo se dará cuenta si tu corte es bueno o tu corte es malo. Si tú vas a una reunión de amigos a tomar una cerveza y si alguien te pregunta, hey, ¿dónde te cortaste el pelo? Inmediatamente te vas a dar cuenta de que tu corte es malo. Pero si llegas a la oficina y si alguna secretaria te dice, oh, te cortaste el pelo, entonces te darás cuenta que el corte fue el correcto. Un buen corte de pelo te puede elevar la autoestima, pero obviamente un mal corte de pelo te puede tener en la cama durante días. Algunos posts en Twitter señalan que después de un mal corte de pelo uno debería pedir permiso en el trabajo por 3 días y estar en la cama. Otro más decía que uno siente que una parte de ti ha muerto si tu corte de pelo es realmente malo. Y bueno, yo no creo que sea tanto. Creo que es después de un mal corte, tu pelo va a crecer, se va a componer, pero esa suerte no la tuvo Sansón cuando Dalila le cortó las trenzas. Lo bueno es que después de un mal corte de pelo, el pelo va a crecer, crece rápido. Pero seguimos en confinamiento. Vas a tener que volverte a cortar el pelo. Las trabajadoras de los salones de belleza dicen que estaría bien regresar a la normalidad y que ellas pudieran trabajar como antes, cortando el pelo. Mi trabajadora me dijo que lo hacía porque tenía que pagar biles con B chica y tenía que pagar la renta del local. La prohibición terminó en 1933 y se acabaron los bares speakeasy, aunque en la actualidad hay algunos en una versión retro actualizada. Desafortunadamente, la pandemia no va a terminar en los próximos meses, pero los salones de belleza pueden operar con seguridad, como dicen sus trabajadoras, y en el condado de Monterey ahora esa restricción se ha levantado y creo que Al Capone puede venir a Salinas a cortarse el pelo.
Thank you, Victor. That was awesome. Great story. And now we're going to move on to part 2 of our classic cocktail, which is the sidecar without alcohol. Ahora les presento el carrito versión sin alcohol. So now let's make our mocktail, which even if you drink booze, it's actually really delicious. You could make this and even throw in a little brandy. Hey, why not? So what we start with here is some fresh brewed tea. This is cooled down. I used, let's see, I recommend these. I've got Earl Grey. We've got a constant comment that's decaf in case you don't want to stay up all night or whatever. Both of these are really good for this. You can also just use plain black tea. So I'm going to put in equal amounts of our tea. While I make a mess all over my table, because I can't pour. And the lemon juice. So this is very lemony, but it's got an awesome flavor. And I never would have thought of putting tea in a cocktail, but it works really great. You do a little sweetener, a little extra sweetener. That's a lot of lemon juice. In this case, I'm going to pour in a little of that simple syrup. Use sweetener of choice. And here's the cool thing, the orange marmalade. Make sure it's got the kind that has those peels in there, because those peels are what's going to make it taste like your Grand Marnier. And finally, if you feel like it, you don't have to. It's not part of the recipe, but a little dash of bitters to me always makes a cocktail just sing. So you can use your Angostura bitters. I make my own bitters. They're really easy to make. You take some vodka and throw some bitter stuff in a jar. In this case, I had grapefruit peels. I've got different citrus peels. I threw in some coriander seeds. Just, stuff. So I'm going to put in a little dash of my homemade bitters. Completely optional. There we go. And now that marmalade is going to work its magic. And once again, got to do the show-off move with that rim. And we're going to gently dip it in our fake sugar stuff. And pour it out. Almost the same color. You can fool your friends. No one will even know you're drinking a badass mocktail. Let's give it a taste. Unlike the president, I have to use 2 hands, okay? This is a really interesting, really cool drink. So I'm going to put a little brandy in this and watch the show. All right? See you guys.
Gracias, Julia, por esas lecciones de cantinería. Ahora ya sabemos de qué pie cojeas. Thank you, Julie, for those bartending lessons. Now we know more about your strengths and weaknesses. Hello, everyone. I'm Claudia Melendez Salinas, one of the co-founders of Voices of Monterey Bay. We are thrilled you're joining the Voices crew tonight. This is a great opportunity for us to share with you a bit of what we've been doing this year of living in semi-isolation. Looking back, I am amazed at all we've been able to accomplish, particularly when it comes to our mission to groom the next generation of writers and storytellers. Estamos muy emocionados de que estén con nosotros ahorita, uniéndose al equipo de Voces de la Bahía de Monterrey. Es una gran oportunidad para que nosotros podamos compartir con ustedes un poquito de lo que hemos estado haciendo este año de vivir en aislamiento. Cuando me pongo a ver, a reflexionar, es increíble todo lo que hemos podido lograr en este año. Particularmente cuando se trata de nuestra misión de cultivar la próxima generación de escritores y cuentistas. This summer, although we could not fully meet in person, we conducted a 2-week journalism workshop for high school students. Our talented journalists wrote a total of 13 stories during this brief period of time, and 2 of them continue to contribute to our online magazine. Este verano, a pesar de que no pudimos reunirnos en persona totalmente, tuvimos un campamento de periodismo de 2 semanas para estudiantes de la preparatoria. Nuestros periodistas tan talentosos escribieron un total de 13 artículos durante este periodo de tiempo, y 2 de ellos continúan contribuyendo a nuestra revista en línea. We've been also fortunate to have a young college student, Aileen Castellanos, write about college life in Salinas and beyond. The Young Voices Media Project is made possible by a generous grant from the Giannini Fund and by contributors like you. We ask that you please consider donating to these and other journalistic endeavors the crew of Voices of Monterey Bay brings you each week. Nuestros talentosos periodistas produjeron un total de 13 artículos durante este periodo de tiempo, y 2 de ellos continúan contribuyendo a nuestra revista en línea. También hemos tenido la fortuna de tener una periodista joven, Aileen Castellanos, quien escribe para nosotros sobre la vida en la universidad, en Salinas y más allá. El proyecto de las voces jóvenes de Voces es posible por una subvención del Fondo Giannini y por contribuciones de personas como ustedes. Les pedimos que por favor consideren continuar contribuyendo, donando para este y todos los proyectos periodísticos que tiene Voces de la Bahía de Monterrey. Muchas gracias otra vez.
Thanks, Claudia. And now we're going to share a really special performance here. This is the last official performance, and then we're going to read a few of your comments and chat a little. But first, I want to introduce Kenya Burton. She's a Hartnell College student, award-winning poet, and a powerful public speaker from Salinas, California. And Claudia actually discovered her at a rally. She's an amazing speaker. She tackles difficult themes around racism, classism, sexism, and all the other isms that plague America, as she puts it. And you can connect with Kenya and read more of her poetry at kenyaburtonpoetry.com. Kenya Burton es una escritora joven de Salinas y es estudiante en Hartnell. Su poesía premiada trata de temas difíciles como el racismo, clasismo, sexismo y todos los demás ismos que son una plaga aquí en los Estados Unidos. Pueden comunicarse con Kenya y leer más de su poesía en kenyaburtonpoetry.com. And now for a real treat for all of you, I will present Kenya Burton.
Help me, I can't breathe, he's going to kill me. Trigger finger counterfeit bill, telling the officer he can't breathe 15 times, one time too many, taking another black man's life. 8 at night, 8 minutes of pleading, a 2-minute video, one body to be buried. A cop with his hands in his pockets and a smirk on his lips, pointing like Columbus finding land that did not belong to him. And yet you still proclaim his innocence. You move on to the next story while we scrape our men off of the streets. You let a guilty man go while we pick out his casket. You give him bodyguards to protect him while we choose his pallbearers. We are being gunned down like dogs in the streets, and people still have the audacity to say that racism doesn't exist. To say that this system wasn't built from the bodies of our sisters and brothers. Say that I'm angry. Say that I'm vicious. Say that I am an animal, so it makes it okay to kill me. They use our deaths to teach us lessons. Don't fight back. Don't speak too loud. Hope that they get off of you before you take your last breath. You have a bulletproof vest and still our phones prove no protection. We could catch our murder live and you would still call it fabricated. Understand that your story will never be just yours. Your movement will become theirs to turn our Black Lives Matter into All Lives Matter, because when the topic's not on them, they feel shadowed. You can't be the main protagonist without a white companion. If you hate this country so much, why stay in it? Take this knee and call it unpatriotic, call me scum. Tell me to go back to my country when this country is more mine than yours. Kaepernick gets blacklisted and a cop gets repositioned. Takes a manhunt to bring a suspect in, only did something when we saw the footage. We could have a group of Nazis walk down these streets and receive no punishment, but fight for the lives of Black people and let the squads in. You want this skin, but not this condition. You want the show, but not the credits. You want my mouth, but won't take this medicine. In your vocabulary, injustice is called compromise, and justice is called special treatment. Take one voice and make it 3/5 of a person, because it will always be easier if you can make a Black person less than a man. Word of advice, show them that the inside of your palms are the same color as their skin. Don't do anything that will make them want to come in. They will cut you open to see if you bleed the melanin you are so proud of. My mother taught me from a very young age, you must respect authorities. If a cop stops you, don't do anything to scare him. Do anything you can to make it home. Apologized for my flesh. Sorry that her loving a Black man gave me a death sentence. Be good and get home safe. One of my worst fears is bringing a beautiful Black boy into this world, that I will have to fill his bedtime stories with warnings and package his lunchbox with silence and submission. I will have to raise 2 different people, his Blackness and his image. Years from now, he will turn on the television and ask, why do they kill us? I will tell him that he needs to love his pigment, and he will say that it makes him a target. I will try to show him how to love his hair, and he will say that it feels like rope, tastes like heritage. When the teacher asks him what he wants to be when he grows up, he will say old. He will open a textbook and see our murders, wondering when he will get his plot. I will have to tell him what my mother told me. They will see your skin as a weapon, your voice ammunition. Cover up, but keep your hood down. Stay quiet, don't make a sound. If you are too loud, they will kindly compare it to the sound of their bullet, asking if Black people are so fast, why didn't they dodge it? Is this what they call family traditions? My culture was erased by privilege, and now it feels like the only thing I can pass down to my children is this noose, this gun, this knee, this barbed wire. Maybe one day he will stumble upon a story. A man with the name of Floyd, the marches that were held in his name when we got tired of being polite. Tired of being peaceful when a protest became a murder technique. Angrier about a Black man taking a knee against brutality than a white man taking a life. This isn't just in Minneapolis, this is in our neighborhoods. One day I will look at my beautiful black boy and pray that he makes it home, that he doesn't run into the law. I have found that I have come to fear cops more than burglars. We don't call to have the fire extinguished in case they call us the arsonist. How can you blame us when time and time again you have proven that you will let us die? Ironic how a man who fought against gun violence died beneath a cop, suffocated on the irony when the cop proved to him that he can make any man disappear, that he get his 15 minutes of fame from the grave. They thought we wouldn't fight for him, that we wouldn't take back the air they stole from him. We will not let him disappear. We will not let this son, this brother, this father, this human being fade away. Did you know? One of the last things that George Floyd did was call out for his mother. Mama, he cried as if maybe the woman who had gave him life could have saved him, or maybe he cried out for her because he knew he was going to die. Like a child seeking out his mother on a dark night, wanting comfort, but only feeling the concrete floor. Mama, help me. I can't breathe. He's going to kill me.
He was born in North Carolina. He was heaven sent. Whoa. Grew up in Houston. He's been busy ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Yes, it will. Oh, it's been too hard to live.
Wow, everybody. Kenya's just a powerful young writer. I get emotional every time I hear it, and this is the kind of talent and passion that we have in our community right now. Just amazing. I also really want to thank Reynaldo Barrios, who's a member of the advisory board of Voices in Monterey Bay, for his help editing these videos and doing a beautiful job of it. Gracias a todos. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight. I think Joe might have a few comments to share from viewers, and one more important announcement to make about Voices and our News Match program. Just want to thank everybody for coming again. And Joe?
Yes, well, we had a few comments. We Watsonville Film Festival, our friends there said, hola. Our friend Christina tells us that the Bomb Squad is the journalism bomb squad. Mandy Spitzer particularly liked the shaky, shaky dance that Julie did. Marcy McClure says Kenya's recitation made her cry. Patrick thanks the Bomb Squad for telling the most important stories. That is, local stories representing the entire community. Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, we're getting lots of comments from people thanking Kenya for her powerful performance. So, and here I am wearing a dopey hat.
No, that looks like a Corona hat. Is that a Corona hat?
Right.
It's supposed to be a Christmas hat. Christmas tree hat.
That looked like a coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's got coronaviruses
A
hanging on it.
green coronavirus.
Yeah.
Joe's the walking corona. So, and tell us a little more about Newsmatch.
Who, me?
Yeah, go for it, Joe. Just remind people what's going to happen the rest of the month.
Through the end of the month, we are lucky to be able to have qualified for a news grant match, Newsmatch grant. which means that between now and the end of the year, all contributions will be matched dollar for dollar. And then about a week or two into the program, we were informed that because we are we do such a good job of providing news and giving voice to people of diversity and of color, that the same grantors have awarded us another $8,850 match grant. So for the first $8,850, every dollar that people gave us was matched 3 times over. So that was sweet. And we've reached, as of today, we've reached the 8850 grant or match. So that's good news. Now we're about $2,500 short of the 11,000. So we would hope that people will continue to support us.
Well, thanks everybody. It's been a fabulous but brief evening. If we were doing this live, we'd be eating and drinking and hanging out and talking until they kicked us out. But
and hugging.
And hugging each other, right? So we hope next year.
I can't wait to hug everybody.
Yes, yeah. Claudia would have been borracho by now.
Oh no, that's you, Joe.
No, I would have been the one drinking.
Yes, there we go.
I would have been hugging everybody.
And I do want to add that thanks to the California Arts Council, we are going to have a few more pop-up events this coming year. So stay tuned. We will have more local performances. We'll have some different themes. Again, this one was connecting out of isolation, and we're going to continue to connect out of isolation. So just want to thank everybody.
We'll have less technical glitches. Thanks for your patience.
Yes, definitely. And this video will also be available for viewing later on in case you missed part of it or just want to catch it again, or maybe the sound was a little funky. You can listen to the video and hear the whole thing and share it with your friends. So just want to wish everybody happy holidays. Thank you so much for your support. It's really been amazing, and hope we can see you and hug you once again. Hasta luego.
Happy holiday.
Yes.
Buenas noches a todos. Gracias.
Hasta luego. Bye bye.